Every decision that you make to keep going forward faces a trade-off. What's up, Smiles Tribe? Welcome back to another great week. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We are going somewhere. Let's jump right into today's video. We each make decisions day in, day out as to whether we should go forward in our endeavor or quit it and start something new. But if for every of those decisions we make, there's a trade-off. On the one hand, by quitting too early and too often, you never get to the hard parts where your efforts might produce success. On the other hand, failing to quit is failure to learn. Because sometimes your ideas and vision do not match reality, and proceeding doggedly in such a direction might cost you more than just your pride. We are so quick to jump to the conclusion that whenever a person quits, it's because they did not give that endeavor all of their effort or ability. But that is not necessarily true, because quitting is something that's in our society we've attached some negative association to. And quitting is not necessarily bad. Let me tell you a story. In 1973 on Long Island, two 7th grade boys met in a gym class and became friends. Over the years, their friendship continued until 12th grade rolled around. Then it was time for the two to go their separate ways for college. Ben Cohen went off to Colgate University and then spent the following summer working at an ice cream truck. In his second year, he dropped out and moved back to Long Island, where he worked menial jobs while attending jewelry and pottery courses at various universities. Before the decade was over, he worked as a cashier, a deliverer, a floor cleaner, a taxi driver, a guard, and an assistant superintendent. Jerry Griffith, on the other hand, was a diligent student. After high school, he chose to study pre-med at Oberlin College. As a side job, he scooped ice cream for students at the cafeteria. After graduation, Greenwood applied to medical school and was rejected twice. He then moved back to New York, where he shared an apartment with Cohen while working as a lab technician. For the third and final time, he applied to medical school. After his rejection, he moved to North Carolina to continue as a lab technician. A couple of years later, he decided to move up to Saratoga Springs, New York, to room with Cohen again. This time, they considered doing something together. Both of them had always wanted to run a business, so they turned into ice cream. After spending $5 on an ice cream making correspondence course, they split the tuition. And a $12,000 investment, they opened up shop. Ben and Jerry's was a success. From that single shop in Burlington, Vermont, they've since expanded across the world. But how did they know that opening an ice cream shop was the right decision to make? How did they know to stick with it even when every other thing had failed around them? The answer simply is they quit numerous things beforehand to get to the level of success they enjoy today. I know we've heard so many stories of perseverance, how perseverance paid off Thomas Edison and his 999 experiments before he arrived at the answer. But then, persistence sometimes can lead to early grave if you're headed in the wrong direction. What is simple should not be confused with what is easy. Opening an ice cream store through a corresponding course and a 12,000 startup capital is simple. But knowing what to focus on and what not to focus on is not simple. While both men in our story decided to start their business, there were several other options that they decided to say no to or quit before arriving at the ice cream business. So also in our case, there is a time where you need to quit and give up. How do you know then when to quit? You know it is time to quit when you don't see light at the end of the tunnel, when you keep doing the right things over and over again, but then all your effort does not pay off, or you seem to stagnate in one place. It might be time to consider quitting. When what you are doing is taking a physical toll on you and causing you pain and giving you ill health, it might be time to step back and reevaluate if you're on the right track. It's also time to consider giving up if the reason why you're doing something or the thing you're doing right now is solely based on the fact that you have this mindset that there's nothing else out there for you to do. Then you might need to quit what you're doing. You're on the wrong track. We often opt for things we can see, which may not necessarily be what we need or want. And we fall into this trap of settling into a routine that we then have this scarcity mindset. You need to rethink it. This scarcity mindset can lead you to a dead end because it will make you stay at a job with no prospects for furthering your career, or remain on an idea that does not have any potential for takeoff. It is also time to consider giving up if what you're doing currently does not align with your values. There are several reasons why we choose to go on a particular path or decide to do something. Sometimes it's as a result of peer pressure influencing the choices we make. But then that pressure or the decision to follow that pressure might not be in line with the value that you've set for yourself. You're working in this particular idea because you feel if you move on to this other idea that is more valuable, people would not buy into it because you are concerned about what will people say about what I am doing. And as a result of that, you fall into the pressure of doing a wrong thing that contradicts your value. It is time to consider giving up if what you're doing compromises your values. Sometimes giving up does not mean you've quit or does not mean quitting. It simply means courage. Courage to admit to yourself that you might have headed in the wrong direction with the best of motives at heart. There is no shame in admitting that you may have gone in the wrong direction. It's actually courage to admit that you were wrong. Wrongful quitting is when you don't want to put in the effort required to see your dream achieved as a result of fear for failure. That's wrongful quitting. When you're quitting for the right reason and in the right way, your gut instinct will tell you and you would know. Don't deceive yourself. A lot of times you would need to try a lot of things to know which one works and which one does not work. When you find the one that is not working for you, quitting is not a weakness. Continue to explore and readjust your idea on what works. And where things don't work, pick lessons from that and move it to something else that works. No experience in life is a waste. When it is time for you to quit, and you quit, that is not a show of weakness, but a show of character and courage. Thank you very much for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't go away without subscribing if you are not yet subscribed. Turn on your notification button and please, let's engage each other. Leave a comment down below and let's engage ourselves and learn from each other. My challenge to you this week is to ask yourself deep and serious question to know if you're headed in the right direction. And if you're not, what do you need to start giving up on? By quitting today and channel your efforts into something that has potential for takeoff. Till I come your way next week, keep being you. Don't give up, but give up when you're in the wrong direction. Blessings.